Batman. Good luck, Harry Potter.
Well, cover me with eggs and flour and bake me for 40 minutes.
Hello, and welcome to ScreenMasters with me, Bav.
And me, Fluff.
And today on the show, we are going to be, I think we've subtly, very, very subtly foreshadowed this episode a little bit in the past, but we will be taking a look at the streaming service of Apple TV, looking at their TV show output and their movie output since its inception, and whether we think it's a good streaming service or not. But before that, I would like to turn to the words of a man whose name I now cannot find. Oh, no, actually, this one I found two different names. I'm going with Roger Miller. He's the one who's most famous for recording this song, apparently, but it may not have been written by him, so, correct me in the comments. I'm sure people will. And she drops what she's doing and hurries down to meet me, and I'm always late. But she sits waiting patiently and smiles when she first sees me, because she's made that way. And if that ain't not loving me, then all I've got to say, God didn't make the little green apples. And it don't snow in Indianapolis when the winter comes. Yeah, I struggled this week. Month, rather. I always say week on this thing and forget that we do it monthly now. But, yeah, I was like, fuck, what are songs about apples?
Yeah.
So I literally just Googled songs about apples, and this was the one that came at the top. I was like, fuck it. The only other thought I had was trying to do Peaches by Presidents of the United States of America. But obviously apples instead of peaches, because there's a tangential link there. But there we go. So yes, there's the wise words this week. Weird song again. One of these songs that you read the lyrics and you go, "What? What the fuck?" I mean, that line. And if that ain't not loving me, that's a double negative, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
What the fuck that actually says. Anyway, let's forget that and move into the intro. How are you doing this month, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad. As you and the listeners will probably notice, I'm a little bit rough on the old voice at the moment. I have a spot of laryngitis, as you've well known me over the years.
Indeed.
God knows how many times. I mean, it's not as bad as the time where I literally lost my voice for 3 months or something.
Yeah.
That was an entertaining period. Jesus Christ, I remember.
It was.
Yeah.
For some of us.
Go fuck yourself. But otherwise, no. I mean, busy because I've actually been watching a lot of stuff. It has actually been a busy month of watching stuff. But it's actually been a busy, enjoyable month of watching stuff, I've got to say. Well, firstly, I'll get onto my anime pick of the last month or so, because obviously my anime's been my big thing of late. So one of the shows that I again found on a list and I was very curious by was a show called To Your Eternity. Now, the premise of this, it's a bit weird, is it follows an immortal, basically a shape-shifting individual named Fushi, who is created as a orb and is put on Earth without any emotion, without any identity, and he begins life as a rock. And a wolf comes along and dies on this rock. And so he embodies the shape and the whole life of this wolf. And then this wolf goes along and finds a human and has a relationship with this human already. And this human dies. And then the wolf takes on the body of the boy and lives out a life as that. And this carries on for a little while because he's an immortal. The story is a little bit more complex than that, but it was one of these shows, and I'm gonna lie, it's a double-edged sword, because it was fascinating to watch a story where there is a person who's an immortal who literally is going through time, but is essentially picking up new vessels, so to speak. But it's also, no joke, been a brutal show on the emotions, because you get to like some characters and they die. And you go along a little more and more characters die. It It really does. I would probably say it is one of the saddest animes and the most heart-wrenching I've ever seen.
Wow.
Fascinating. It can get a little bit frustrating at times, because there's also a weird cult of people. Again, I don't want to get too much into it because I think it's one that some people should search out. There is a little bit of a weird cult-like group, and some of them have a unbearably weird sexual attraction to the main character. You know how some of these animes can get with this.
Yeah,
it's not always it's not always bad, but every once in a while it's just like, okay, can we not do that? But it is what it is. So that's the one that I watched. Fascinating series. It's again on one of the top, animes of all time lists. It was one that I was like, you know what? I started it. I couldn't not finish watching the series that are there. There's 3 series there at the moment.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit of one that I had to come away and actually watch something with a little bit more joy in it afterwards. I'm not gonna lie,
Getcha.
because it did pull you down a little bit. So, but on that note, the one that I did actually go back to kind of give me a little bit of joy again, and oddly enough, this is one which has just appeared on Netflix. Is a series I've mentioned before to you, and I do encourage you definitely to watch this one.
Yeah.
And it's called Shangri-La Frontier, and the first season has just appeared on Netflix for anybody who wants to watch it. Thoroughly love that. It's a gamer who goes into a new MMO game, but obviously in the style of Sword Art-esque, fully immersive kind of game. But he is a trash gamer. Like, he's played the worst games imaginable, but he has beaten them all because his skill is that good. And then he finally goes into like a AAA title game and has so much fun playing it. But because of his play style, does the game completely different to anybody else. And honestly, it is one of my favorite animes.
Nice.
The next series isn't even out until January of next year, so I'm gutted about that at the moment. But that is one that I will recommend for anybody who's got the access to the Netflix.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is it on Crunchyroll?
It is also on Crunchyroll. Yep.
Cool. I may watch it on there. Yeah, funnily enough, when we get to my bit, me and my son will need something to watch going forward. So that might be a good one for us to look at, because I've long wanted to get him into sword art, and for some reason there's something in his brain that just, he says, no, I don't want to watch it. So I'm looking for something new, that's because I know he'd love it, because it's the gaming, like you say, it's got that gamer bit of it. So I've been looking for something else. I was going to go towards Log Horizon because I think that's a very similar, it's got that game aesthetic stuff to it, but
that's the thing with them. Each one has a little subtle difference. We'll pick up on a new anime episode further down the line, ladies and gents. But yeah, some of these ones where it's either you're a gamer in the real world that then suddenly gets reincarnated in another world, or you're a gamer in the real world who's actually gaming in a way. There's different kind of tropes of that all over the place, but again, Log Horizon is very near and dear to my heart. I freaking love that show. So yeah, if you're going to show him too, Shangri-La and Log Horizon, high recommendations.
Okay.
But we'll actually switch over to the live actions now, because it has been a lot of stuff going on now. Daredevil has finished.
Indeed, Daredevil Born Again Season 2.
I'm going to let you take the lead first on this one, because I want to see your thoughts before I speak.
Fair enough. I mean, we have discussed, I believe, off pod, and maybe even we've touched on it in previous months, to be fair, while we've been going through it. I don't think it's very good. I feel like Jessica Jones was shoehorned so that they could spoilers, by the way, before we get into this. Should have said that before I said Jessica Jones, but I think people know that she's popping up in it. But spoilers. I think she was just put in there to reintroduce Luke Cage at the end, in the final episode, so that we know that, okay, he does exist in here. And I love the fact that they're pointing towards everyone else, but it's like, wasn't there Isn't there a guy with a iron fist or something? It's like, no. Let's no, shush. That never happened. But yeah, there's a man who deflects bullets and stuff. Yeah, I don't think it was very good. We discussed, like I say, we may have discussed briefly on pod and stuff, but it's the foggy. The foggy is missing. And this episode, there's an episode in the second season that's pretty much a flashback with Matt and Foggy, and it was that episode I came out of and went, "Fuck, that is what's wrong with this series. That's what's wrong. It's him." Because you have his other, person who would pull him back to the good side in Karen, who sticks around, so she's there, but she becomes a bitter, twisted, violent person as well, who wants to see Bullseye dead no matter what. And so there's kind of no one to pull him back from the edge, I feel like, and that's a problem, because when he does end up pulling himself back from the edge towards the end of the season, it seems a bit weird because he's sort of talked himself out of it. I also think that they spent the entire season faffing about with I forget the character's name. Is it Heather? The psychiatrist that he dated in the first season?
One of the few characters I really did not enjoy at all.
But
I didn't enjoy her in the first season.
What the fuck is she doing? Like, I don't mind when she's the love interest and stuff, and then, the thing happened with Muse in the first season. I thought that was, okay, all right, you might do something interesting with the character. And the more it went on, I was like, oh, okay, so is she going to become like a female version of Muse because she's been so twisted by being at Kingpin's side, and it's twisted her perception of the vigilantes and stuff by being on his side. Is that the problem? But it still doesn't resolve any of that by the end of the season. It just, I don't understand what they were doing with that character. So yeah, I've watched the whole thing. I will say that I think it is the last episode where Kingpin kind of has a moment where he's had enough.
Mm-hmm.
And but then again, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, I love the sequence where he's fighting people, like the bit where he picks up a guy and breaks his back on the corner of a wall. Like, it's fucking cool.
But there's no repercussions.
But what the fuck are the repercussions exactly? Before that fight, he's offered a deal by the Attorney General, it is the Attorney General, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's offered a deal where he can just exile and there'll be no repercussions. And then he sets about murdering about 25 people in cold blood in front of loads of witnesses. Yeah. And by the end of it, he's stood on a fucking beach. And by the way, I think that was filmed in the volume. Didn't look right.
Yeah.
Didn't look right, did it?
Yeah, so this is obviously something that we...
It's like, no, he should have been put in prison, surely, because he murdered a fucking huge amount of people in front of a shitload of witnesses.
This is the conflicting thing. Like, I want to really, really enjoy Daredevil as a series because I love the character. Again,
I love Charlie Cox's portrayal of him as well.
100%. I'm still going to go back and say the first two seasons are and always will be the best.
Oh, the Netflix ones, yeah, absolutely.
The foggy of it all, as you like to coin it when I said it a while back, it is the foggy of it all. He is the heart and soul of very much Matt's life, in and out of the comic books, and the TV portrayals and the movie portrayals as well. He's an integral part of that story. Karen less so because of her history in the comic books, and she's a love interest, but it's Matt Murdock, for shit's sake. His true love is Elektra.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the comic books, is his true love not Elektra? In fact, his
very much so.
Not died multiple times and potentially dead still at the minute.
Karen is dead in the comic books. Yeah, she died long time back after selling his secret out. Spoilers. She was a heroin addict who ends up in like South America somewhere and basically needs a fix. And she's like, the only thing I can sell is Daredevil's secret. So she sells his secret, which makes it all the way back to Kingpin, and that starts that whole particular comic book run, which is the basis for season 3 of Daredevil, I believe.
Yes, yeah, because that was, basically season 3 of the Netflix one was essentially the Born Again. It was an adaptation of the Born Again storyline, wasn't it?
Yeah. But to your point again about we said about Foggy being the heart and soul of him, but he wasn't always just that heart and soul. And again, one of the huge factors which is massively missing. And again, as a person who I love Daredevil, and especially those seasons, because I have a familiarity with it. I was, born and raised Irish Catholic for a good portion of my life. So seeing him still have that link to the religious side is very important to that character, and that's kind of embedded in him. And these last 2 seasons have essentially just brushed that under the carpet, so to speak. He doesn't go to church like he used to have a priest that he would go and talk to about these big things, about the fact that he wanted to kill Kingpin. Is he the actual devil in real life? He was asking these philosophical questions, and then his mother becomes part of that equation in season 3. So she fills that void. That is hugely missing from this character and from this perspective, for me, anyway.
I agree.
Again, yes, okay, Bullseye wants to redeem himself, but again, that's very much like he still killed shit tons of people, and he's allowed to sit on a plane with somebody. How is he not a flight risk to a million? He's a government employee now, okay. And then Fisk kills a shit ton of people, and he gets a pardon while Matt goes in prison to next appear in Spider-Man. Spoiler alert, he's going to appear in Spider-Man, and if he doesn't appear in Spider-Man, I'll shave my beard again.
All right, in which case, if he does appear again, Fluffy does shave his beard again, I will genuinely post the picture to our socials this time.
That's perfectly fine. But I mean, come on, I'm not stupid enough to think Spider-Man's going to be battling the Hand in a new film, and that Matt Murdock, who's now in prison, won't appear in a scene which just so happens to appear in a prison in the trailer. Come on,
Exactly.
Put 2 and 2 together. There is one more season of this. Born Again. There is one more season to come, and again, like I say, we've already had spoilers out there to ruin some of the characters that are going to be reappearing, and that's the frustrating thing. That was leaked before this season 2 had finished. Well, you're gonna piss people off by doing this. Again, get your shit together, Marvel. We still haven't got an Avengers trailer, and we're almost 6 months out from what you want to be one of your biggest films in years.
We've had like
Get your
6
shit together.
Avengers trailers.
Well,
None of them
fucking
say anything.
Yeah,
but we've had them.
So anyway, I hate it when they tout this is the best season ever. Oh, this is the best. There were some good sequences, yes. There were some good moments, yes. But is it the best? Not in my opinion. But that's, again, that's what we're here for, to say. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody can have an opinion.
Of course.
It doesn't have to be the same opinion, but as long as you're enjoying and finding some semblance of passion in what you're watching, that's kind of the point, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. If you enjoy it, cool. More power to you. Like I get it. I can see why people would like it. Just like you say, for me, didn't necessarily work. So spinning off then.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then the yo-yo, I would say, was the Punisher one-shot special.
Indeed. So go on, you go first on this one.
Yeah. So again, I mean, we know that, Frank is a messed up person at this point. He is gone through the ringer and then some. How he survived being shot, stabbed, blown up, hit by cars, God knows how many things. How he doesn't already have like a super soldier serum in him is beyond me, because he survived so much shit.
He's Frank Carlton. Reasons.
Yeah. While his physical aspect doesn't appear to deteriorate, his mental faculties are certainly getting there over time now. The fact that he is seeing all of his old squad, he's seeing Karen, he's seeing some weird shit at this point.
Yep.
But the thing that always pulls him back is he hears a kid crying, his moral compass suddenly hits the right spot, and he does what needs to be done. At times, it felt like I was watching a bit of The Raid, or maybe even Dread, the Carl Urban version of Dread.
Yep. Exactly the same. It's when he comes out of his flat and looks around that block. And I was like, hey, cool. Are we just going to start clearing this from one side to the next?
And that's it. He just, picks up a gun and jumps from floor to floor and annihilates people left, right, and center. And again, he's saving people as he's doing it. Yeah. And again, it's one of those things that, say what you like, they're addressing it. He's telling people, get down. He's defending civilians and stuff like that. You always get these big battles in bloody superhero films or whatever, but again, you don't generally see them saving people some of the time. Even in this R-rated scenario, he is saving a lot of people. So it's still conflicting by the end of it, because it's not like he goes on much of a personal growth, as opposed to now wanting to kill himself. He's now directed that attention to, you know what, there's a lot of scumbags in the world. Fuck it, might as well take them out as well.
Yeah, it's a there's two things for me. On the one hand, the action in it is incredible. Like, it's got the John Wick feeling for me. Like, it feels real, it feels hard hitting, it feels crunchy, it feels visceral. And again, I don't know whether you saw, but Marvel actually posted like a only a minute long or something behind the scenes bit on it. And Berenthal did a lot of his own stunts, like even the bit where his legs are on fire and he bursts out of his flat that's on fire, the doorway's on fire. Like, he did that himself. So fair play to him. He got properly fucking involved. The bits I don't like is I was sitting there watching it. I was like, I feel like I'm watching Frank Castle have a breakdown for the last 20 minutes. Because like you say, the beginning part of it is just him in a room on his own talking to ghosts of his past. And when it finished as well, I was like, Christ, you know what? I bet Berenthal was really fucking happy when he got the script for this, because it's basically a monologue for 50 minutes, interspersed with action. But when it finished also, I went, who wrote this? Because I don't think the writing's very good. And then, of course, the credits came up, and you see that John Berenthal co-wrote it. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. It feels a tiny bit self-indulgent. And I, again, in this little 1 minute thing, he talks Berenthal talks very passionately about how much he loves the comics, and he really wanted to do something that was more in line with the comic version of Punisher than the sort of edges sanded off PG-13 version that Disney might normally want. I mean, I do find it interesting that this, what is an incredibly violent 18 rated one shot lives on Disney Plus next to Lilo and Stitch. But there is a very big disclaimer screen that comes up at the beginning of it. So they really do try and warn you that this is definitely not for kids. But yeah, I want to like it more than I do. I think the action is fucking brilliant, but some of the rest of it was a bit self-indulgent. And I also find it really weird, the setup and the ending. So the setup to the whole thing is, if you didn't watch the post-credit sequence in the final episode of the first season of Daredevil Born Again, you have no idea where Frank Castle went. Because the last time you saw him in season 1, he was locked in Kingpin's dungeon. And he doesn't feature at all. He isn't even mentioned in the second season. And then the next time we're going to see him, he's playing for the Goofs with Spider-Man in Brand New Day in a few months. So he'll be a sanded off PG-13 version of what we've just seen. It's like the tonal jump is going to be a bit weird. Yeah,
that's why, like I said, the yo-yo that is the Punisher special, because it feels like a bit of a yo-yo, because
that's I see it. Yeah, I agree.
We're getting the version that went from the TV to, okay, we're getting an R-rated version, but we're also going to yo-yo back to then a PG version for Spidey. Again, clearly there's a lot of love with some of these actors for some of these roles. And more, if they're prepared to put themselves through some of the punishment to do some of the stunts and stuff like this, although there is a meme online, I don't know if you've seen it, for perhaps one of the worst.
Is that the bit where he falls onto?
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
And he clearly fell back onto an airbag, and then they've tried to digitally replace it with some sort of metal thing.
I think the description was like a PS2 villain game cutscene, and I laughed because I was like, I see totally what they mean by that.
Yes.
I think that thing that Marvel have just cut a lot of jobs in their FX department.
They have.
We'll see come the end of the year how big of an impact that's going to have for them. I think.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Like I say, the Marvel also did a little one on a little behind the scenes thing on Brand New Day, and like the sequence that's in the trailer where they're he's chasing someone down the street. A lot of that was actually shot practically. They had a truck rigged up with wires and stuff, and whether it was Tom Holland, I doubt it, but it could have been. But there is an actual physical person on wires being swung across the street as the vehicle's moving down, and I found it quite interesting that they've gone for that practical approach to that, because even Sam Raimi in 2000 wasn't doing that with Spider-Man. He was CG in it. So I did find it interesting that they'd gone for a more practical approach. Maybe it's the director, because it's Daniel Destin Cretin who did Shang-Chi.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
maybe he prefers a more practical style, so he went, try and do as much of this as we can.
Once you've done a few films of that ilk, you've got to do something fresh and something new to shake the audience out of that disbelief, because it's do something fresh, do something new. Because how many Spider-Man films? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that at this point. So you need to mix it up. But so there we go. There's my roundup for this month. How about yourself?
So yes, the only other couple of things then I would mention is I have now finished One Piece season 2 live action. I may have said weeks ago, me and my son were watching that an episode a week. I cannot sing the praises of that show enough. I fucking love that show. It gets me every fucking time. I've been saying this to a lot of people. I feel a lot of anime, when they get made into live action, the only way I can term it is they sort of sand some of the anime off it, because it's a bit too silly or it looks a bit ridiculous. So they sort of sand the edges off. I don't feel like they sand anything off this show. I think if I look, like, the hair is something I always go back to. Like, they don't need to make the hair on not particularly the main crew, but like the characters they run into, the hair is always insane. And I always look at it and I'm like, I love that you've gone to the lengths of doing that, because I guarantee if I look up this character and what they look like in the manga or the anime,
100%.
they look exactly the fucking same. And a lot of shows would not do that. Now, maybe it's because Netflix put the full faith in Oka, isn't it? The guy who writes it. I can't remember his first name. Masai Oka, maybe? No, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, the guy who created it and wrote it is behind the Netflix show, so he is potentially keeping it as true to the source as he possibly can, and maybe that's why it works so well. It just gets me every time. Every time it lulls me into a false sense of security, almost, of thinking, oh yeah, this is a silly, fun little anime romp. And then something will happen that makes me go, fuck, you're nearly bringing tears to my eyes, for fuck's sake. Like, this is so deep and emotional sometimes. I think in the first season, it was the episode... the episode when Nami, you first learn that Nami's sort of a double agent almost, but she's in deep and she can't get out. And there's just a bit where she turns to Luffy with tears in her eyes and says, "Help me."
Yeah, she's like on her knees.
Exactly.
And he's just like,
sequence from the anime, and it is exactly the same.
Yeah. She's just on her knees in front of him, and he just says, "Just say it. Just say what you need.
Yeah,
I need your help." Of course, but he needs her to say it. It's that thing of like, I can't do it until you ask me to do it.
You need to trust me to say it to me and know that I won't leave you. And that was the first time the whole show made me go, shit, there's more to this than a standard anime. This season was the Chopper flashback episode
100%. Chopper
later
breaks
in
your
the
heart.
series. I just
Another CGI character that breaks your fucking heart. I mean, we've had Grogu, we've had Gru, and now we've got Chopper. They're kind of the three CGI, love vests these days that will literally break your heart because they're just fantastic puppet stroke CGI characters that have been brought to life.
Yeah.
And they're great. And again, just the snipey bit better. Shut up, you. And just like, it's not, like you say, it's not afraid to embrace where it comes from. The stupid comments. So it's a girl. Well, I mean, that broke me. I think that broke anybody that watched that scene. The killing 100 dudes, whole sequence, and counting, fucking fantastic.
Yep.
The relationships that they're all building with each other is really, you can see it works behind the scenes and in front of the screen as well.
Agreed.
And
like Sanji and Zorro.
Or Sanji and Nami as well. It's very platonic as well. You don't look at that in a romantic sense. It is very platonic.
He's a bit more that way in the anime, isn't it? He's, as far as I understand it, they've
he's a full-on
sleaze factor. He's a bit sleazy and creepy in the actual anime, but like we say, that's an anime thing, isn't it? They tend to be a bit sleazier.
But I think the creators kind of gone out and said, no, like there's no romance on the crew. That's not this kind of a show. There's not that kind of stuff that's going to be going on. They're all crew. And I kind of appreciate that because it does kind of help build that cohesion a little bit. I am really happy that that we've got at least another season. I'm dubious. I've got to be dubious, and I've got to be self-aware of the fact that if it does not do well in the ratings over the years, then we're not going to get the full end.
That is my biggest concern. I agree.
Which again, when you've started watching it this way, I don't really want to jump on and start watching the anime. As I said before, I was tempted because I've really enjoyed the story, but I'd very much like the live action to continue. So again, ladies and gents, if you've not watched it, please do. Help push those ratings up by 1 or 2 views even. I'm sure it'll help.
It is amazing. It is amazing. But yeah, no, like you say, it's a fan-fucking-tastic show. I think
the casting is just on point every season as well.
Absolutely. Some of the the lessers and the more known names and things that come into it, they're just I can't say anymore. It's a great show. I'm out of words. What I do find amusing is my son delights in telling me the names of the fruits that they eat sometimes.
Sure.
If someone's got fruit powers, he'll tell, do you want to know what their fruit is? Because what's his name? Wapol, the king. I don't think they tell you the fruit that he eats. He eats a fruit, but they don't tell you what it's called, I don't think, in the series. And apparently it was the munch fruit.
I could not tell you. I don't really. It's been a minute since I watched it.
Yeah, no, of course.
You
watched it when it came out a couple of months ago, but I did. I just find it funny. It knows what it is. It knows what it wants to do. It knows where it's going because it's nearly finished. It's a great show.
It's cutting out the filler.
The worry I have is as you say that it won't get to a conclusion, but.
I mean, if it gets to that point, then I'll go, you know what, let's pick up the anime from here, then I'm not too... We'll address that as and when that might happen.
Quite. That's my thought as well. The only other one, I finally got around to watching the Mario Galaxy movie.
Oh, yes.
Anyone who went into that film expecting a deep plot and character development and stuff, I think you went to the wrong film. I heard before I watched it that people were kicking off that there's no plot and there's no character. And fair enough. I mean, there was loosely a plot in the first one. And all right, you could argue that Mario had a character arc, but there wasn't much more than that. I'd sort of heard whisperings that it's a bunch of Easter eggs and references loosely threaded together with a basic plot. And that is exactly what it was. Yeah. And I'm a massive Nintendo fan. So, yep. That's all good.
I
mean, I'm not surprised. The introduction of Fox McCloud, the way they do that is insane. Because as soon as that sequence, his intro sequence finishes, I was like, well, clearly you've done that because you're going to spin out a film then. Because you
Well,
were introducing his wider cast and Pepe
Yeah.
and Slippy and Falco.
we'll
Or
see.
you could argue that they did it to tie it in with the fourth. I think it's the fourth time
Fourth
they've released
Game, yeah, that's coming out on the Switch too, is it?
Star Fox 64 now. I think
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
fourth time they've taken that game and done a different version of it. So yeah, that's re-releasing in July or something. I forget now. So
Yeah.
I can't decide, but supposedly, yeah, apparently there is a solo Donkey Kong movie in the works, and there is a Star Fox movie in the works, supposedly.
Yeah, I'd also read potentially a Luigi's Mansion one, which
Oh,
personally,
they should do that.
again, I'm like, no, put that at the top of your goddamn list. I'm sorry, but any more, I can have Charlie Day as Luigi. Yeah, sign me up straight away. I love Donald Glover as an addition as Yoshi. He is a gaming savant.
But
it is insane because all he says is Yoshi. But the fact that just watching him on the promotional, the tour, he is a gaming savant. I mean, I knew that he was an incredibly geeky guy, as well as being a talented fucking singer, talented writer, talented actor. I mean, put the rest of us to shame, don't you, Don? But yeah, he's funny as shit as that. Again, he just turns up and immediately you go, yeah, you're kind of my favourite character now, Yoshi. Thanks very much. Didn't really care for Toad the first film anyway, so fuck you, Toad.
yeah, but
it was paid numbers, paid by numbers. Yeah.
Yoshi and
it wasn't anything special. I'm not going to say, I'm sure it will do very, very well at the box office overall.
Yeah.
But it's not like the wow factor. That I was perhaps hoping that Mario might break out of that shell a little bit and do something, but okay, that's fine. Just paint by numbers is fine.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna say it was. As we say, I feel it was Ronseal. It did exactly what I expected it to do. It was a bunch of Nintendo references strung together by a thin plot. Fine by me. Fine by me. I'm not expecting a Cannes Palme d'Or winner if I'm going to watch a Super Mario movie. Well, yes, shall we move through to the main topic then?
Indeed.
The streaming service, Apple TV. So, I think we both wanted to talk about this because what I find fascinating about Apple TV is the wealth of stuff on it, the quality of that stuff. Half the reason I wanted to do this episode is because when you and I have discussed things we're watching, like I say, I find it really interesting that on this one streaming service, there is stuff that we've both watched, stuff that I've watched that you haven't, and stuff that you've watched that I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And like for what is, you would consider a smaller content offering than an Amazon Prime or a Netflix or certainly a Disney, there's not as much on there as those streaming services. But the fact that so much of it has been, has hit the what passes for the zeitgeist these days, in the modern day, there is no, they used to call it the monoculture, the TV show like Game of Thrones was the last one that I can think of that people, everyone talked about it at work the next day, and that's the last sort of monoculture thing that I can really think of. We're all split into our own little niches now. And part of that is because niches are more available and there's more spaces to talk about the things you love with people that love the same thing. And then part of it is the algorithms. The algorithms know what we like, so they just feed us more of the same that we like. So, you don't necessarily get introduced to things that are outside of your algorithm because it doesn't know whether you're going to like them. So it doesn't take the risk of you clicking off the platform that you're watching it on. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting service that offers a lot. And again, when you think about the stuff that's on there, as we'll go through, like some of this stuff, I just don't think anyone else would have greenlit. I don't know whether the money would have been there for the types of things that Apple makes.
I'd say, yeah, agree to that point. They've taken certainly some more risks on some properties and some projects. They've made some different creative decisions than you would have expected, but it actually seems to have benefited them. And that's the really odd thing. I mean, this is a streaming service which is 7 years. 7 years into its run now. Started 2019.
Yeah.
So we're 7 years into its run. I mean, I can't even think how long Netflix or Amazon Prime been going. At least a couple of decades, probably a piece at this point, surely.
Yes, well, I mean, it depends where you count it from, because obviously
True.
Amazon Prime exists because they bought Love Film, that was the postal DVD rental service.
True.
And many people forget that that's how Netflix started. It was the first DVD rental service, and video games they used to do as well. And that started, I mean, Christ, I was at uni renting stuff from Netflix and Love Film, so that would have been 2003, 2002, something like that.
I mean, the fact that, again, anybody who buys an Apple product immediately gets, a free, is it 1 month or 3 months?
Something like that, yeah. I
free
think
Apple TV now.
How much you spend, but like you said, you get a freebie there.
Yeah, which, okay, granted, I mean, it's nothing to it's to sneeze at, but at the same time, you're like, but you're just giving that away free. Like, that's an incentive for you to go, well, look at how good our stuff is. And then you realize, now hang on a minute, they're beginning to win the awards, and they're actually beginning to win the acclaim. They're not considered the small fry anymore. They're actually considered the competition. And I think changing that perception over the last, I'd probably say 3 or 4 years, massively, with some of the properties that they've been putting out. More so on the TV side, I would say, predominantly to begin with. I wouldn't say some of their feature films has perhaps fared as well as some of their TV series.
No, but there are a few.
There are a few, 100%. But I think, whereas I think Amazon have got the kind of good system at the moment of they've got a good system of putting out not the best of movies, but the odd Cena Idris Elba film that we watched, the Heads of State, was it? The Idris Elba
Cena one.
And again, there's other films of that ilk, which Amazon have kind of got that niche for some of those.
It's like Alan Richardson seems to be doing a lot with them, isn't it? Although not all good. I sat down to watch Playdate, I think it was called, with my dad that he's in, and god damn, that's a bad movie. It's a really, really bad movie that isn't very funny when it thinks it is.
That's funny because he also did War Machine on,
which is apparently very good
on Netflix. Sorry, and it is very good. Again, I was surprised by that because I was like, oh, this is the film that it is. You don't really know too much going in. So each one of them kind of has, but it looks to me as though Apple are taking their time and their care with their film division a little bit more, if that makes sense. They don't appear to be taking too many risks on that aspect. They're not giving huge budgets so far to, two directors and a movie star. What
you're referencing there.
who could say? Who could say? But, I mean, just looking through the list of all the programming that they put out so far, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, and like you say, I've got a list of the stuff that I've watched, which is, I thought I'd watched quite a bit when I actually wrote stuff down, and then went, oh, but look at the big list, and actually I've barely scratched the fucking surface already. Obviously, things like, well, fuck it, let's get into it. So let's start on the TV show side. I know you watch For Mankind. You've mentioned it on here.
For All Mankind. Yep.
I have the first series downloaded. It is high on my queue to watch. I am looking forward to that one. But a series like that, again, like I say, that's one that you've watched. I haven't. And is what, 5 seasons deep now?
5, and then we've got sixth and final coming. So I've slowed down on that one, but mainly because, again, as I said before, I had a few I enjoy the science space aspect of it. The human condition, not as appealing at times. But I think it's because I've watched a few like that. So I'm taking now a break from that, and I'm waiting till the final season, and then I'm going to kind of bookend and do the final like 3 seasons in a Warner.
So if people wanted to watch that, what's your pitch? It's an alternate
history. An alternate history where the Soviets beat the Americans to landing on the moon for the first time, which causes a technological space race between 2 competing nations. But then that begins to spread out to private companies and then everybody else. And it is essentially how you would love to see the space race be today. Forget all the bullshit politics. We need to focus on getting out into the stars to get ourselves settled on the moon to begin with, so that we can then go to Mars, so that we can understand civilization and how we're going to survive. Because shock horror, ladies and gentlemen, this world does only have a finite amount of resources. We need to figure out how to get up there. So that's my alternate history pitch for that one.
And then things like Mythic Quest. Obviously, we did a couple of episodes on in our first run, as it were. Fantastic series about a company that makes an MMORPG, a massively multiplayer online role playing game. For those that don't know what that acronym means. And then you're inside the studio as they're making it, and the different people and the interplay between them, and it's fantastic. It's got great cast. Again, I advise you. We're not going to go into depth with it, but Danny Pudi's character is one of my favorites. The arc he goes on over the entire thing is just brilliant. Poppy is. She's such a great character. I know
one of my all-time favorite TV crushes. No joke. I love Poppy Lee as a character.
I love how human she is. I really
love her to bits. Charlotte Niccardo is just so fantastic in that. Rob Mack, as we now know him. Even sadly, the early part of it, obviously. Changed over time because obviously the cast and what happened with some of them. I don't want to go too much into that, but
we won't go into that. But yes, some cast members didn't come back for.
Yeah, I mean, again, I loved F. Murray Abraham's character. I really did.
Yeah,
then he did some stupid shit, and you're like, old Hollywood, would you please fuck off? But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was the right call not to bring him back at the end of the day. So I don't argue it. It's a shame that the character didn't get to come back, but like I say, I'm not going to argue the case that he should have.
But yeah, you've got stuff like, I mean, again, Severance and Pluribus.
Yeah,
we've already discussed those.
Episode if you want to,
please do. I mean, the fact that those two are so widely popular and critically acclaimed is a huge plus for Apple TV. Literally to hang the hat on and go, 2 of the best sci-fi shows that are around are ours. And their original content. They're not built off of a pre-existing franchise.
Yeah, it's funny. I just slight tangent, but there's a gaming channel that myself and Fluff both enjoy called Noobs Gaming. On their podcast this week, they happened to talk about Pluribus, and they were quite disparaging of it, and I found it quite interesting. Their upshot was that they reckon the whole series could have been an 1.5-hour movie. If you go back and listen to our episode, a lot of what I loved about it was the fact that it took the time to show me stuff. Rather than tell me it in a few sentences of dialogue. And they particularly reference the sequence where you follow one person, I think it's Zosha actually, she mopeds up to a plane, she gets up, she goes into the plane, she flicks all the switches, she flies the plane, but like you're with her while she's doing all of that. And their argument was, that scene was too long, you could have cut it. And to me, no, because that's him showing you at that point in the story, it's him showing you that it's how he's showing you that every mind is connected.
Yeah.
This woman has never flown that plane before.
Yeah. How else are you supposed to? Yeah.
Because she has the consciousness of someone who flew it for their entire life inside her. And it's important the way he shows you it. And I would rather watch a 15-minute sequence like that.
Yeah.
Show me the world and, embed me in it, bring me into it, rather than see two characters sit down and go, oh, yeah, well, we all know how to do everything because we've got everyone inside our head. And you could have done it as a one-sentence conversation, but I don't think it would have been as interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it would have brought you along for the ride as well as it does. So I really disagreed with them. When you get the chance to listen to it, I'd be interested to know what you think. But
no, I
totally disagreed with the points they were making on it. I think the things they wanted to cut are the things that make it what it is to me.
100%. That's the thing. Not every show is going to be to everybody's particular liking. I don't want my hand to be held along the path of a storyline. I want to try and work things and figure things out. And I have those moments where I sit there and go, shit, I think I've just figured something out. And then in a couple of episodes time, I'm like, shit, why did I figure that out? Because, you put the pieces of the puzzle together. It doesn't tell you that that's what's going to happen. You suspect that that is what could potentially happen. I don't want my hand to be held. I don't want to watch your murder porns, basically, which is basically a set of detectives holding your hand through the whole fucking story, leading you all the way to the end. I don't enjoy those stories. I don't enjoy your NCISs or your NYPD Blues and every fucking variation of every pissing franchise that there is.
Order.
Even the new stuff, like, Caitlin Olsen, bless her, she would still always be D to me. I can't watch that show because it's the exact same stuff. It's murder porn, which really tickles me because the guys in Sunny took the piss out of murder porn at one point, I'm pretty sure. But a job is a job in Hollywood, I suppose. Yeah. I appreciate that it isn't to everybody's taste, and I don't think everything should be. But I also think it's important to not insult your audience and show them something as opposed to just tell them. We're not all part of the TikTok generation that needs shit spelling out to us. Some of us actually want our brains to be a little bit engaged.
Yeah, that's it. I don't want to de-skill myself by making AI do the thinking that my brain could do.
I think it's also fascinating. I said, again, we'll move on from Pluribus because we've already discussed this, but even that opening segment where you see how the virus spreads around the world, you could have done that in a 10-second montage and gone ding, 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 ding. Yeah. World is spread. But you didn't. You did that over a 5-10 minute period. The impact means more because you realise the extent and the lengths that it took to get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, you could have... in my head, I'm imagining what we used to call the hip hop montage, which is, Edgar Wright likes a good hip hop montage. Yes. And like you say, you could have done the spread could have gone that way, but because they do it the way they do it, you get more time to look at what's happening. You get more time to digest it, and then you get more time. You find yourself asking questions because you've had more time to take in what was going on. Yes, like you say, though, we should probably skip off that one. If you want to know our full thoughts on Severance and Pluribus, feel free to go back a few episodes and listen to that one. I suppose one that's relevant at the minute, as it's not long finished. I'm working my way through the second series of Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Oh, it has finished now. Okay, yeah. No, I was.
Yeah.
I started watching it, and then I was like, I'd rather do a deep dive on this one.
I did the same thing. I was like, no, wait till it's finished. Let's watch it all. I'm 2 or 3 episodes in. I'll be honest, it's not been great so far, but I'm hoping it's going to get better. I think the writing is a bit weaker this season, or it has been to start with, and there was one particular episode, I think it was the second one, that I would just describe as being a bit mopey.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of characters were moping around, and a lot of other characters were coming up to them going, hey, what's up? And it's like, oh, come on. Let's. It's not a deep enough show to wallow in that stuff, you know? it sells itself as a bit more of an actiony fun
a kaiju. It's a kaiju series.
exactly,
That's kind of the point. It's the legacy of monsters, for crap's sake, not
Yeah.
the legacy of mopey, whiny. Oh no, my life's not all that great. Well, nobody's is, my darling. We live in a
also-
world with monsters.
I'm not convinced they were given a second season to start with.
No, they
because
weren't. No.
The first episode of the second season basically spends the first 20 minutes to half an hour undoing
The end of the first season.
first
Yeah.
season
No, I've seen.
so that
Yeah,
they
that
can
I have
actually
seen.
go forwards.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I thought that myself. I was like, doesn't this kind of take the punch out of the end of the first season?
Yeah.
Question mark. Okay then.
But I'm in because I do like the Godzilla Kong stuff. I think it's silly knockabout nonsense, and I want to see Godzilla fight the new kaiju. So, and I know that's coming towards the end of the season. It's got to. So, I will keep going with it. I just, unfortunately, I think the quality has dropped a little bit this season, and maybe it is because they didn't have a second season in mind to start with, so they just went, "Oh fuck, what are we gonna do?"
Yeah. No, I've got to give a shout out to my good buddy, Mr. Moore, who I did briefly discuss. He was intrigued to know what was upcoming on the pod, so I did fill him. I was, it was Apple, and his eyes lit up a little bit because again, he loves a lot of that stuff. And the one that he actually said to me was like, "Slow horses," which again, I mean,
We segue into that one then.
yeah, by all means. It is one of those ones where, I mean, the fact that Gary Oldman has turned around and he's gone, if this is the last acting role I do, I will die happy.
Yeah.
Because he loves that character so goddamn much.
Yep.
Um,
So it's based on a series of books, for those that don't know. A supposedly fictional, but I'm not sure it is, MI6 department. And
MI5.
essentially, it's for the fuck-ups. If you fuck shit up and you're a member of MI6...
MI5.
Sorry, MI5. They aren't going to fire you because you know too much. So they send you to Slough House and you become a member of the Slow Horses, which are essentially the shit MI5. But obviously it's not really the shit MI5. You can see there are a lot of people who are there because they're shit MI5s. But Jackson Lamb, the main character, who is Gary Oldman, is clearly not shit. He's just very, very abrasive and abrupt and, well, for want of a better word, an arsehole, and doesn't really give a fuck that he's an arsehole. And that's why he's been shoved over there. And he's the head of the department. But yeah, no, I love that series. It's so good. I like Gary Oldman in the role. Jack Loudon, I think, is maybe the sort of the character that you get introduced into the world with. The first series starts with that character, Jack Loudon's character, fucking up on one of his first missions and being sent to Slough House. So he is sort of your way into what this whole thing is. And yeah, it's really interesting. There's some really cool twists and stuff, and it does have some shocks in it. That characters, like you said about the series earlier, you get to love the character, and then unfortunately they're taken away from you, and you weren't expecting it. But yeah, I'd definitely recommend that. I think it's a really, really interesting and very good show. I suppose I'll mention the studio. I won't say any more than that, but the studio I think is a very good show.
Yeah, I mean,
Movies
it is
the industry. I'd recommend watching it. I think it's a good show.
it has gone back on the to watch list. I'm not going to lie. The reason I was hesitant is because obviously the Rogan of it all.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you for that. And obviously, I've said to you, I'll talk you out of it. Rogan's in it. He's main characters.
Yeah,
but it's everyone else around him sort of offsets him, if that makes sense.
That's the thing. I can deal with him in small doses. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think that's the thing. Sometimes in the role that he's in, he can just be a bit of an eccentric douchebag.
Yeah.
But I think with this and just the prestige that's gone around it, and the fact that Catherine O'Hara's in it, and everybody said such lovely things. It's now back on the to watch list. Cool. So I've not binned it off entirely.
So yeah, again, for anyone that doesn't know or didn't hear, the studio is about a guy who takes over a movie studio, or becomes the head of a movie studio owned by a dickhead CEO, and he is a big art house film fan, and he's like, "Hey, great! I'm going to be able to greenlight loads of really cool, interesting art house movies." And then the CEO says, "Yeah, I've just done a deal with Kool-Aid. We're going to do Kool-Aid the movie." And that's sort of the inciting incident for it all. But it's amazing. I know we talked about it in other intros. Particular episode is, I think it's called The Magic Hour. If you are a fan of films, watch that episode at least. It is some of the best filmmaking I have seen in years. It is just that good. On all sides. The writing's incredible. The way it's shot is brilliant. It's got a meta narrative. It's that particular episode is the one where I went, oh no, this is a properly good show, actually.
Then we've got all of the Bill Lawrence shows. I mean, Jesus, like Bill Lawrence has done pretty damn well for himself out of Apple.
Shrinking, that's the one I've got on my list. Watched
Shrinking again. I know that
I have watched a good bit of it.
No, Mr. Moore has mentioned that to me. It is one that I will get round to be watching. It's that thing of like sometimes, especially when it tackles mental health and that kind of thing. I need to say that for a point where I'm not suffering too badly with that issue, which hasn't always been the case of late. So that's definitely on the to watch list. But I've heard nothing but good things about it. Ted Lasso, I'm not going to watch it now. As much as I love the premise for it, Jason Sudeikis for me, I can't stand. I just cannot stand the actor. Don't know what it is about him that just grates me so fucking much. I cannot stand him. So much as I love the prospect of this series and what it could do,
I thought Jason Sudeikis was in Shrinking.
No,
Is he in Lasso as well?
Yeah, it's Jason Segel. Jason Segel, you're thinking.
Oh, I'm thinking of Segel, aren't I? Sorry, you're quite right. Yeah.
Who I've loved from, How I Met Your Mother. So I remember him from.
Yes. No, I've totally confused those two. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And yeah, he did like Bad Monkey as well, which was a crime caper thing with Vince Vaughn. So yeah, I mean, again, it's Shrinking has done unbelievably well for them. It gets the rave reviews. It's got Harrison freaking Ford in it, for shit's sake. And everybody's loved his role in that because he is a bit more of an old curmudgeon, and as opposed to being the usual Harrison Ford, he's actually playing a different role, and that's one of the reasons that I'm interested in watching it, because I want to see a legend of that ilk actually enjoying a passion project as opposed to going and being Red Hulk and getting a payday out of it.
Yeah. Yes, agreed. Again, I know we've mentioned it before. Masters of the Air.
Yes.
If you liked Band of Brothers, you liked the Pacific. Masters of the Air is the story of the American air fight during World War II. Fantastic series, incredible. One of the what's his name, Callum Turner, who is supposedly the bookies' favourites for the next Bond, is very good in that. I
also
like
funnily,
and it's got a bunch of other people in it who are very good.
Funnily, you mention his name because, in fact, one of the shows which is coming up on Apple TV is called Neuromancer, which is based on it's like a 1980s novel. I think it did get turned into a graphic novel at one point. Now, this is what I mean. I've read this, years and years ago, and the idea of thinking that this could ever be made was like, I'm not sure how you could make this, because it is a bit of a head fuck, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Callum Turner is actually going to be the lead in that, and that is going to be coming out. I don't know when. I don't think they've announced a date yet. But yeah, Neuromancer. Keep your eye out for that one. It's basically kind of a cyberpunk dramedy mystery. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of crazy CGI shit in that. It's a bit of a head fuck, that one.
Okay. Next, let's have a look at the list. What we got? Time Bandits. Watch any of that? Only got one season.
Yeah, that was the reason that I didn't watch it, because I was waiting till it was done, and the reception generally wasn't well received for it.
I found it a bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I do find Mr. Waititi a little bit hit and miss sometimes these days. He's one of those directors, writers that, like you've just said about other stuff, you know, I watch something of his and I'm like, cool, I'm good for that style of humor, and you know, I'm good for that style for a little bit now, you know. But no, I thought it was all right. It'd have been interesting if it did explore things a bit more, a bit more deeply, and got the chance to. But yeah, it was okay. I wouldn't say more than that, really.
I mean, obviously, one that I have been raving about since, I can even probably say good couple of years now, but Foundation. Honestly, I think it's one of the best shows that Apple have actually put out, full stop.
Yeah.
Because it has actually changed the course of the story, and has managed to continue those threads even when you take a story through centuries, not just years or decades, literally centuries. The fact that it's still going, the fact that, you know, Lee Pace is still involved in it, fills me with joy. I do encourage you to watch it, and I think it's on your watch list.
Download it again. It's high up the list. I was hoping to watch it before we did this at least the first season before we did this episode, but I just didn't get a chance. But yeah, no, it is one I want to watch. And again, it's from what I understand, it's one of those sci-fis that make you think. It doesn't spoon feed you. It doesn't hold you by the hand.
Yeah, again the fact that, you know, somebody like Jared Harris as well, an actor that I love. You know, I remember when he appeared in The Expanse to begin with, and I was like, "Oh, an actor of your caliber is appearing in this? Wow, that speaks volumes." And I think that's the thing. Sometimes I look at a project and I look at the cast, and that makes me go, "Ooh." You know, that intrigues me a little bit more sometimes, because if you know that certain actors are attached to it, you've got a little bit of faith that they've picked a good project because they like these rather complex characters and they like these rather complex stories. So yeah, when Jared Harris kind of starts the whole thing off, it's a great thing for me, and I hope that you'll thoroughly love it when you get around to it.
I do agree. I adore Jared Harris. I don't know whether he always chooses the best movies. For example, are you aware he's in the second Resident Evil movie? Paul W.
Sure. Well,
Evil movie.
I would say for, you know, I think this is the
Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes movies.
Oh yeah. But you can tell when he has a payday, and you can tell when he's doing something that might be a little bit more of a risk.
Yes.
Because it's not going to get him, and you know, if he does Sherlock, oh yeah, that's going to get him. You know, oh, okay, that's a big film and stuff like that. Oh, you're doing Foundation, an Apple TV series? Like, is that really? That's what he wants to do. So I think it's those little no. I think basically, if I see the word sci-fi TV series and Jared Harris, I'm a little bit excited these days.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, like you say, the point is he brings a gravitas with him.
Yes. Yeah.
If you put Jared Harris in there, you're bringing that gravitas in, regardless of what it actually is. And yeah, you're not wrong. He is in the Resident Evil movie, but my God, if you want to look at someone show me a more phoned in performance than his in that film.
Sure. And now a series which I attempted to watch myself, but I couldn't actually get through it. Again, not everything is for me, and not everything is going to be for me. But I know our buddy Jord was a huge fan of this, which was Silo.
A massive fan of that show. I cannot wait for the third series.
Yeah,
it is incredible.
It may be one that I have to revisit at some point, because I tried watching it and I got 3 episodes in and I just found myself not caring about the characters, and I have to stop a series at that point, because if I haven't found a linchpin and if I haven't found something to really follow me through this story, then I should stop, because I might need to revisit it.
It is a weird one at the beginning, because the characters that you're going to spend the most time with are not necessarily front and center in the first 3 to 6 episodes.
Yep.
You know, it's Rebecca Ferguson that does it for me. Tim Robbins as the sort of de facto bad guy, if you like, is very good. Steve Zahn comes into it later on and he's incredible in it. I think I believe the term they use this day is a mystery box show, which is very much, think Lost. It is a show of mysteries. The thing I love about Silo is that I know I'm safe. Silo is based on a series of 3 books. There are only 3 books. It is going to tell the story of the 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that any mystery introduced at any point, they already know what the answer is. You're not sitting there like with Lost going, fuck, do you actually have an answer for all of these questions you're bringing in? And of course you get to the end and go, no, actually, you had no fucking idea what the answers were to half of that shit, did you? And that's why I love it so much, because it is such an amazing mystery box show. I mean, you haven't seen it, but anyone who has seen it and seen the end of the second season, the end of the second season of Silo, literally the last scene in it, is equivalent to the end of, I believe it was the 3rd series of Lost. Back when it was still good.
Mm-hmm.
But the 3rd season, the last 2-parter of the 3rd season of Lost, was the one where you're watching these, what you think are flashbacks, and then right at the end of the episode, it transpires you've been watching flash forwards. And it just made, again, it was back at a time of monoculture. Everyone's brain exploded because we didn't know they were going to do that or go down that path or what that meant to the story. And the end of the season 2 of Silo does something quite similar, but I know I can get excited about it because I know it knows what it's doing. And I know it knows what I've seen, what that means in the larger context.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm safe with it. But yeah, it is an incredible show. Like I say, it's a bit of a mystery box. I wouldn't want to say too much about it, really. I think it's nice to go in fairly cold on it and let it teach you its lore as it goes along.
I mean, again, there's still a lot of shows on Apple which I'm not particularly interested in myself.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that have watched and probably will enjoy that stuff, like The Morning Show, with Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon. Not for me, but that's something for somebody who would enjoy that kind of stuff. There was Hijack, which had Idris Elba on, bit of a thriller kind of thing.
That one I got listed. I did enjoy that.
I think Criminal Record, which was Peter Capaldi, again, a little bit of a crime thrillery one. So again, there's those kind of crime thrillery murder porn stuff, which is there as well for people.
You said the word porn in this episode.
Not enough. We'll see if we can squeeze in a couple more before the end of the episode. Yeah, it's fine. It's never enough.
We call this one Apple TV Plus in brackets or the porn episode.
Okay. There is. I actually watched it and it was okay. It wasn't. Again, it wasn't fantastic, but there was a series called Murderbot. I don't know if you heard about this one.
Yeah, Alexander Skarsgård. I tried that one. I gave it 2 or 3 episodes. Yeah. Like you say, it just didn't gel with me, that one.
No,
so
I think...
But I was quite interested in the premise.
Yeah, I think, honestly, as a book, I think it might be interesting. Genuinely, I think, having done Bobiverse and stuff like that, I think the interesting side of that would be fascinating to kind of hear his inner turmoil. It didn't seem as though it was as enjoyable watching that. But, again, not everything is for everybody, and that's kind of, and again, I mean, you've got stuff like Stick, which Owen Wilson, golfing. Again, they're finding their weird, okay, well, we've got the football niche with Ted Lasso. Okay, we need to find something similar with golf. Okay, we've got that with Owen Wilson. It wasn't necessarily well received, but everybody seemed to love it. And it's because a lot of people love golf. I don't know why. It's boring as shit to me, but people love it.
Maybe it's an age thing, mate. Maybe by the time we're in our 50s, we'll be golfists.
I
and buying
am
them
wholeheartedly going to say no.
swinging at them bucks and stuff.
I take the piss out of. There's one poor dude at work, and anytime he kind of brings up golf, I kind of roll my eyes and I'm like, ugh. And I just put him down about it all the time. I'm a bit of a bully about it. I don't know why. I just hate golf anyway.
When he drives the Jag.
No, he's a young dude. Like he's like in his early 20s.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's a young dude in his early 20s, and he spends far too much money on golf clubs and golf holiday. But again, that's just that's not my thing. But it isn't, Anyway, so there's so much on the TV side that maybe we should perhaps have a look at the old movie side.
There's one more I just want to mention, which is an upcoming one. I believe it's slated for release in June that I'm actually quite looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing a TV adaptation of the movie Cape Fear.
Yes.
And it's the cast, like Amy Adams and Javier Bardem and Patrick Wilson, particularly Bardem, because as far as I'm aware, he plays the bad guy in it. And I love him as a bad guy. I mean, Anton Chigurh is one of the all-time classic bad guys from No Country for Old Men. So
yeah,
I'm so looking forward to him getting his teeth into a bit of a bastard role again.
Yeah, he's a great actor. We should just shut up about politics, if I'm being utterly honest.
I haven't crossed his politics, but there you go.
Oh God, yeah, no, but I think that's the same of any actor in this day and age. Don't preach to me. You're in no position to preach to me. Please don't do it.
Go back to Gervais's Golden Globe speech.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's that thing of Cape Fear is like, okay, I watched that way back when. I'm not sure it needed a reboot, but at the same time, some people love that kind of stuff. If as long as there's a market for it and people are interested, why not?
Yeah, I mean, my hope for it is that they'll do one season and that's it. Because, like you say, you're basing it on a movie. I mean, I mean, maybe there was a book. I don't honestly know, but like one 10-episode season, I would have thought is enough to bring that story to a conclusion. So I hope it isn't one that ends up getting dragged out for 4 seasons and actually there's one season's worth of interesting stuff in there, but we will see. But I'm hopeful at the minute.
It is based on a book. I was convinced it was, and it is based on a book called The Executioners.
Oh, is it? I didn't.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, it was
based on that as well in the 80s. Yeah, go on then. Let's move over to the movies side, if you like, then.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands with regards to the movies, I mean, they've obviously not produced, anywhere near as many movies as they have, TV series at this point. But I think it's because they've actually, again, they've gone out of their way to produce a lot of TV stuff, and whether that is because it is Apple TV. Wouldn't surprise me. They want to make sure that their TV division, the stuff that will draw people in, is kind of their contributing factor. But one of their first ones, weirdly enough, was let's have a look here. Hala was their first one from 2019, which was at Sundance as well.
The first one I watched of theirs was the Tom Hanks Greyhound, which is a story of a sub hunter during World War II. I really enjoyed it. It was a really, really enjoyable World War II movie at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where again you're like, oh God, how many World War II films can you do, Mr. Hanks? But no, it's a great film, and again, Tom Hanks and Apple TV have got a good old partnership going. He's done at least 3-4 films. I know he's done Finch, which was kind of a post-apocalyptic survival one, where he's basically trying to save the life of his dog.
Yes, I remember that one.
By building an android. Yeah. And again, as a dog lover and as a former dog owner and hopeful future dog owner, that one broke my motherfucking heart. That one did. Yeah. Understandably so. I'm trying to think of what the other one he did. I feel like he did another one recent of late.
Maybe. I can't think myself.
No, I'm not going to find it now. It'll probably pop up. But yeah, I mean, they had one of the Russo brothers, films which had Tom Holland in it, which was Cherry. Didn't exactly go down particularly well. Whether it was one of their, attempts at trying something a little bit different. Basically a guy who suffers from PTSD. Again, it was a bit of a different role for Tom Holland, but didn't really do anything for me when I watched it. It was okay. Yeah, middle of the road kind of a film. Didn't do much for me.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there are a few of those, I think, in there. Things like I've written, stuff I've seen, like the Gorge, Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy. That isn't great, but it's interesting. Argyle, which was the Sam Rockwell, Henry Cavill, and what's Bryce Dallas Howard? That's it. I do know her name. I was going to say what's Ron Howard's daughter called. Yeah, I could have done without that one, but there you go. I think I don't know how it went down, to be honest. But it's the diversity, because you've got stuff like that World War II movies, post-apocalyptic action type stuff, and then you've got them funding shit like Ridley Scott's Napoleon, Killers of the Flower Moon, and then like still a Michael J. Fox story and F1. It's such an eclectic, diverse mix that they go for. I mean, particularly their documentary output is insane.
Oh, yeah, no,
there's probably an Apple TV documentary about them.
Yeah, just looking down the list here, Beastie Boys, Bruce Springsteen, Billie Eilish, what the hell? Oof, okay. Velvet Underground, Louis Armstrong, Selena. Oh God, yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean Bono.
I'm not good or people.
But there's a variety there at least. Yeah, again, like you said, I mean, for every weird kind of film that they've done, Argyle. I mean, that was like. I tried watching that, and Jesus, I couldn't get past the first half an hour. It was fucking awful.
It's really not very good, and it gets worse the longer it goes on.
Napoleon, I think I got 2/3 of the way through that, and I had to stop because I just did not give a fuck about it by the end, and I just hated it. I really hated it.
My big issue with Napoleon is that someone should have done more directing of fucking Joaquin Phoenix.
He's just all over the goddamn place.
He was a bit too much free reign for my liking. And with his wife, and he crawls under the table.
Yeah. It's like the scene in Little Britain where he's going Bitty, and he's trying to suck his mum's tit. That's all I can think Joaquin Phoenix is trying to do at that point. I'm like, oh God, this is Little Britain. What are you doing? Yeah, it did not do great. Killers of the Flower Moon. I mean, Jesus Christ, that won a good chunk of awards for them, as I recall.
It's a 3.5 hour movie about shit in the Native American times. It's Scorsese, isn't it? That one?
Yes.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? So, you give Martin Scorsese 3.5 hours and a bunch of money, and that's what he comes back with. And yet it worked. It did the business. I mean, one of their early ones was Coda that really got some traction. It didn't work for me, but I can understand why it did work for a wider audience.
Yeah, I was just checking here. Yeah, so it was nominated for a ton of Academy Awards. Didn't actually win any of them by the looks of it. No, it was nominated.
For it.
Yeah, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Supporting Actor. Yeah, there was a lot, but no, it didn't actually seem to win anything.
I mean, they funded Spike. It's Spike Lee, isn't it?
Yeah.
Spike Lee's highest to lowest. Haven't watched it yet. I've got it on my list to watch, but again, that's a remake of a Kurosawa movie from the 60s. So, I'm really interested. Again, the cast is incredible. So I'm very keen to watch that. But like you say, you it just blows my mind that, on the one hand, you're giving Scorsese 3.5 hours and a bunch of money to make what he wants, and then on the other hand, you'll be giving Spike Lee free reign to make what he wants. It's great, and it feels to me when I watch some of these things like I am watching what the director wanted to end up on screen.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like not a lot of them have talked about studio interference and mandates and that sort of stuff. They seem to be pretty much like, yeah, we like what you're going to do. Here's a bunch of money. Off you go.
Yeah, I mean, there've been so many weird. Like, I'm just actually looking in the last, say, 12 months or so. So, I mean, we've had
Lost Boss is a great film. That was last year, and that's a cracking little disaster thriller. That is.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So you got, oh good god, yeah, Fly Me to the Moon, romantic comedy with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
You've
I
got
do remember that one.
Fountain of Youth with oh god, Krasinski, Portman. Yeah, I mean, I just look at Krasinski as a TV actor, but that's just me personally. I've had this argument with other people, but anyway. And then yeah, there was the Family Plan,
Well, the Fountain of Youth thing again is really interesting because it's Krasinski and Portman and all those, but it was written by James Vanderbilt and then directed by Guy Ritchie. It wanted to be Indiana Jones for the next generation, I think, is what they're probably going for.
And then yeah, we've had F1, and then Eternity, another weird romantic comedy thing, and then some film which Jonah Hill did, and I cannot stand Jonah Hill. It is a hit and miss with a lot of people.
That one.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's had middling reviews, but it's Jonah Hill, and I'm like,
I heard someone reviewing that the other week, and they said it was fucking bad.
Yeah.
They said the best thing in it is that Martin Scorsese is in it playing a character who is a washed-up agent for young actors, and apparently he is the standout performance of the entire film.
Okay, well, that's not going to be great then. So yeah, okay. So for every good thing you get outcome.
Is it? But like I said, I've said it before.
It's variety.
I'd rather you took a chance and failed than stay safe and give me more of the same that I've seen before.
100%. I mean, they've got the Matchbox movie, based on a toy car coming up.
Of course, you've got to base shit.
Way of the Warrior Kid. Something else. I mean, so they've got stuff upcoming. And then, I mean, again, we've mentioned about the Cosmere stuff, Brandon Sanderson stuff, which has obviously been picked up by Apple.
Yeah, that's it.
So we're going to get the Mistborn and the Stormlight archive. Obviously, Stormlight will be
coming soon that I'm interested in. And like you say, Mistborn is one of them.
Yeah.
I've actually got the first Mistborn book on Audible.
Oh, okay. Fair play.
Having a listen to those. Supposedly, they're making a sequel to Greyhound as well. How you make a sequel to that movie, I don't know. They're obviously doing a Formula One sequel. And then one that made me laugh, because obviously we're spoilers, guys. We're in the UK, if you didn't know. So things like the Oregon Trail mean very little to me. But I
know about it. I know the Oregon Trail because I've actually seen it played. It is a game.
The video game. Yeah, absolutely. But obviously the Oregon Trail is a famous journey that the first frontiersmen in America took. There's an amazing series called 1883 that's on Paramount, and it is a Yellowstone spin-off story. It's essentially the origin story 2 generations before Yellowstone. But it is, regardless of the Yellowstone of it all, it is a fucking incredible series that basically tells the story of a man on the Oregon Trail to get to stake his land, But it is an incredible series. You don't have to have seen Yellowstone for it to make sense. It's just a fucking brilliant frontier story. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what that's like, because I imagine it's going to involve lots of people dying from dysentery, because that happens a lot as far as I understand it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be. Oh no, somebody got eaten by a bear. Oh, I mean, Christ, I'm trying to remember. It was I want to say, is it the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which was on Netflix by the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember there's one short story in there about a young girl who kind of goes on a journey, and that is not a happy end to that story. So I wonder if it's going to be the same as that.
Yeah, a lot of those Frontier Oregon Trail stories don't end particularly well, no. Yeah, I mean, I think we've gone through everything I've got on my list. Is there any
No, I
others
think
you want
that's
to mention?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I think the general thing, as we've been saying, is, just based on the content that they've been putting out over the years and taking some risks on some series that you wouldn't think they would take risks on. Again, I look at something like Severance, and clearly the budget that they gave it, even from the first season, and the confidence they had with it, I think speaks volumes to sometimes the people that are behind the heads of Apple TV. They've looked at the state of Netflix, they've looked at the state of Amazon and every other streaming one, and they've gone, can we just put out good content? Like
what happens if we just make good stuff?
Yeah, and we stop going through the churn of going,
good,
okay,
but
here's a
maybe
series, and then cancel.
What we think is shit, someone else really enjoys, and that's great. That is why I applaud them for what they do, because they don't just go, right, here's the formula, it's tried and tested, this works, let's just do this over and over and over again. They don't. They take chances. They take risks on directors or writers or whatever it might be, and they take the chance. And you know what? If it doesn't work, fair enough. But at least you gave it a shot. And like I say, I've got so much respect for that way of doing it, rather than just going, right, yeah, here's the formula, here's what works, let's stick to this.
I think the one of the other things I've always noticed as well, personally, when I've used Apple TV, is also the streaming speed of it, and the quality. I if I'm sometimes watching something on Netflix, or the pixel quality sometimes goes a little bit for me. It's not always as high def as I would perhaps like it to be. Amazon, Jesus Christ, I'm getting so bored of paying for Amazon Prime, and yet I'm still getting adverts like this is fucking ITV. And now they're considering making those of us who watch Netflix and Amazon contribute to the TV license. Not part of the TV license. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm already paying, and you're already putting adverts. It pisses me off to no end. So, yeah, Apple just seem to be doing the right thing. And, I mean, I don't want to go, singing the praises of Apple all the time, but they're doing good, and I just hope they continue to do so. There's a lot of projects and properties that they picked up and that they're running with now, and yeah, the fact that somebody like Sanderson, has gone over to them. I look at something like the Bobbyverse. I'd love. One of the things that I do feel is missing, although there are a couple of animated shows on Apple, I think a good couple of animated series could go in there. I think Bobbyverse, do that as a sci-fi animated, could really do well for them.
Be interesting. Save you a lot of money as well.
It would, yeah.
You need some serious fucking CG for some of that.
And that's why I think I genuinely think animation is the medium for Bobbyverse, if and or when it gets round to it. But
disagree.
Yeah.
Just to go back to the point you just made, you are entirely correct. So the thing that obviously people don't realize in the modern day, you youngsters out there, or people who have been using streaming for years and just don't realize, the quality you are getting is nothing compared to a physical Blu-ray copy of it, for example. Even if you're watching it in 4K over the streaming services, because they all restrict something called the bit rate, which allows them to cope with lower end hardware, with lower end internet connections. Netflix use an incredibly adaptive compression algorithm for it. But here's an example. Netflix generally, if you're watching a 4K stream, your bitrate will be between 10 and 18 megabytes per second. Conversely, if you're watching a 4K on Apple, its average bitrate is between 25 to 40 megabytes per second. And that gets even higher, up to 50 or 60, if you happen to be watching it on an Apple product, like an Apple TV box is specifically designed to be able to deliver incredibly high bit rates. So it isn't, you're not imagining things. It is genuine. You get a better quality experience on the Apple TV platform than you do Netflix or Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime tends to restrict theirs the same way Netflix does, because, like I say, it allows them to cope with lower end hardware, smart TVs, or, like I say, people who are still out in the sticks and don't have 100 meg broadband connections. Just a little bit inside baseball there for you on the tech side.
Hey, no, that's the thing. It's we live in an age where everybody kind of takes the internet for granted, and especially as children of the 80s and watching this shit go from the wee old wind-up modems that took a good couple of minutes probably to get going, and you had to disconnect, reconnect every time. If somebody picked up the phone, you were screwed. So we've come a long way.
Oh God, when your mum used to pick up the phone, you're like, "Mum, I was downloading something. No, I've got to start again.
45 minutes. I literally had 1 minute left. No, I've got to start again." Yeah, those days.
I'm sorry you put the phone back down. No, but you've broken it now. Oh, kids, you've got no idea. It's funny, just to go back to that point you were making. I really noticed it because it's been a while since I put a physical Blu-ray in the box, and it was the Jurassic Park episodes. I had previously watched them on Prime streaming, and because I wanted to watch the deleted scenes and behind the scenes stuff that came with the Blu-rays I've got, I watched the first one on Blu-ray again, and the difference, I had just forgotten how much better and how crisp everything is in the Blu-ray versus the streaming version. And it's just something we've gotten used to in the modern day, and I find I don't like it. I don't like that they've done this to us and rolled quality back, and we've just sort of accepted it and gone, yeah, all right then, I'll take I'll take less quality in my products. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, any final words?
I'm gonna give some final words now. I normally I try and tie my words into something prophetic for what we're watching, but because we did Apple TV overall, I couldn't find any one. There was one quote but again, because you hadn't watched For All Mankind, it didn't really work. So instead, I'm gonna go to one of the lines from one of my all-time favorite films. I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve.
Good line. Good line. I like that. Yeah.
One day I hope to prophetically have a speech where I've got to, say that in front of a bunch of people, or well wishes or whatever. I'm just going to be a bastard.
Yeah. That's very, very good. Yeah. So, sort of been a bit of a spotty ending, but hey, there we go. So there's some wise words, and that's about it. So for now, I shall say that I've been Bav,
and I have been Fluff,
and this was ScreenMasters.